Well, folks, here we again for the weekly forecast. Most of the precipitation over this last 7-day period for the state occurred during this last weekend into the early part of the week. We did have some shower and thunderstorm activity develop on Saturday evening and carried on through Sunday morning across portions of central and north central Nebraska, lesser as you got closer to the Kansas border. Then we also seen some redevelopment Sunday night into Monday morning across extreme southeastern Nebraska as a cold front pushed through our region. That was about it for the major precipitation, outside of a few isolated showers that were reported in the Panhandle and north central Nebraska. Most of us were high and dry for the remainder of the week while we watched Hurricane Harvey wreak its havoc in Texas, eventually moving back toward the Gulf of Mexico and then lifted up into northeastern Texas and southwestern Louisiana before eventually starting to lift and late in the week up into the eastern Corn Belt. So last week we talked about it merging with the upper air trough. It got there a little faster than the upper air trough, so the cold air, although it's coming, will not be as significant as last week's models were projecting. So as we go to the upper air models, what we are going to see is that we have high pressure firmly in place across the west central plains. Here's our troughing action. Looks like it's going to start working its way into the Great Lakes region, and as it does, it'll start to pull in cooler air. For our region, we have low pressure system to our north, but there is moisture starved with all this high pressure at the surface. So most of this precipitation that we're showing here would just be light sprinkles, and I don't even think it's going to make it to the surface. As we get into Sunday, this trough starts to try to deepen a little bit over the Great Lakes region. We're firmly in place with high pressure aloft and at the surface. Very warm conditions once again for tomorrow. So we're looking at 2 consecutive days of 80s and 90s statewide, no precipitation across the center part of the country. And then a reinforcing shot of cold air starts to come down the pipeline into the Great Lakes on Monday. Surface low to our south and to our east basically acts as a convergence zone, but it looks like most of the moisture will be over the Great Lakes region. So nothing showing up, at least in terms of projected precipitation, that would be over 1/4 of an inch in the central plains. Tuesday, the trough reaches its deepest point. Cool air in place over the Great Lakes, high pressure still firmly in control over the central plains, and with the upper edge building back in, we're going to see some fairly nice temperatures. Now, the models do get aggressive with the precipitation, but once again, they're on the back side of this in that dry air. I just don't think it's going to happen. Wednesday, the trough deepens to its maximum across the eastern United States. High pressure builds in from the west with surface high moving into the central plains. We're expecting a warm up to start beginning during the middle of the week as precipitation gets shunted off to the eastern United States. There is some monsoon moisture over the southwest, but it doesn't look like it's going to make it into our region. And then as Thursday, we see the high pressure system building to the north. High pressure basically dominating the surface for the northern and central plains. So once again, dry conditions are expected. We have some monsoon moisture starting to show up, but we just don't have anything for that moisture to work on as this high pressure system builds even farther and toward the north on Friday. We do show signs of a cold front starting to make its way in through next weekend. High pressure again dominates the end of the week for our region. We're not expecting much in the way of precipitation as most of the cold air starts to move off the eastern seaboard. We will pay attention about 3 or 4 more days down the road, about a week from this following Wednesday, that there is a chance for Hurricane Irma to start impacting either the Gulf of Mexico or the eastern seaboard. Time will tell. But in the meantime, as we look from next Thursday to the following Tuesday, cold air remains in place well below normal temperatures for the eastern half of the United States. And in terms of precipitation, we are looking at below normal precipitation from North Dakota all the way to the Gulf of Mexico.